Hello, sexual diversity students. I'm Professor Catherine Payne. I've been faculty at George Brown since I got my first part-time teaching contract in 1996, fresh out of grad school. I was hired full-time at the college in 1999, and in 2006, I was one of a small group of queer and trans staff who created something called the Positive Space Campaign. We felt that the college needed to do something to address the discrimination that trans and queer staff and students were experiencing at George Brown at the time. So, with funding from the college, we created and ran a set of anti-oppression workshops for faculty and staff around sexual diversity issues. George Brown is presently hoping to address anti-Black and other kinds of racism with similar initiatives. One of the outcomes of the Positive Space campaign was a recognition of the need for classes to help students learn about sexual diversity, so that you all would have knowledge and training about queer and trans folks, queer and trans history, and queer and trans issues to take out into the workforce and into your communities. Since my grad studies focused on sexuality and gender, and I have a wealth of work and life experiences in the area of sexuality, I got to be one of the authors and teachers of this course. I'm filming this message here in my office, surrounded by my books. Among other things, I love reading, and I love teaching and talking about sexuality. I think it's an infinitely interesting subject, and I hope that I can share that enthusiasm with you. In order to give you the best experience of the course in these rather tricky times, I'm going to run an hour-long live class through Blackboard Collaborate next week on Wednesday, January the 20th at 11:30. So it'll be 11:30 to 12:30. And at the same time in week 3 on January 27th. And then we'll meet 3 more times through live classes in Blackboard Collaborate throughout the course. I really recommend that you attend those classes. The course material for this class is challenging. A lot of the reading is cultural theory. And if you don't have experience in queer and trans communities or in reading cultural theory, I think you'll get a lot out of our live conversations. I hope you'll find the subject matter in this class as riveting as I do. And I hope you'll ask lots of questions of me and in your study groups. I know that this is not an optimal situation. We've had a pretty weird year. Lots of us are super anxious. The pandemic has made some of the social inequality that our economy rests on, like racism, really evident. And it's a bit hard to focus in the midst of all this strangeness. But I'm excited nonetheless to see what we can do to learn together in this online environment. Lastly, I want to confess that I'm pretty new to teaching online. I'm sure that I'm going to make some mistakes, and I'd ask that you let me know if you encounter problems or issues in Blackboard or with online learning generally. Please use our class question and answer discussion board to ask anything at all about the course. That way everyone in the class can see my answers. I'll sign off now, but I look forward to meeting you next week on Blackboard Collaborate. And please, before we get together, do your readings in Module 2 and try and answer the reading questions before class so that we can start to talk about them and I can help you if you have any difficulties. So long for now. Good luck with the rest of your first week and stay well.